What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Just gonna be talking about the Broncos again. I said that I was gonna be doing this after the first video on the first preseason game, so I'm just back at it again. Just gonna talk about what I saw, and what I expect at least a little bit to see in the next game, and just some final thoughts on quarterback competition in general. Let's go. So, just to start off, I'm going to start off with the starting quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater was the guy who started. He played with the ones, and he looked great. He looked really, really comfortable. He looks like he has great chemistry with the O-line, the receivers. He had really good pocket awareness last game. I wouldn't be surprised if he was named starter some point this week. I really would not, because he played great with the twos on last Saturday against Minnesota, and then with the ones, he played just as good, if not better. And I think that really shows that he's comfortable playing with whoever and whatever, and he's able to adapt to different situations. And I think that that's something you need to have as a starting quarterback. I think that he looked good with the twos and the ones because he's just comfortable of who he is right now. And I think this is pretty important that he's proven to be able to be a winning starting quarterback in Minnesota. He won a division. He should have won a playoff game in Minnesota. He, after the injury, went to New Orleans, and he proved that he was probably the most capable backup quarterback in the entire NFL. And I think when he was starting, when Drew Brees was hurt, they went like 7-0 or something. So he's pretty good there. And that was a Super Bowl caliber team, and he was great. And he just had the best year of his life in Carolina, with a much less dynamic offense than what the Broncos have right now. And Carolina doesn't have a bad offense. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, they had Curtis Samuel last year. I mean, he's with Washington now, but they had Curtis Samuel. Mike Davis wasn't bad at all, replacing Christian McCaffrey. Like, they had a decent offense, but it's not nearly as dynamic as this one. So I think in this system, with the weapons that Denver has, he definitely can be a quarterback that can take this team to the postseason. And if he starts, I have no problems. Absolutely none. That's just what I saw from him. I think he looked great. If he starts, I got no problem with that. Now, Drew Lock, I got to talk about him, obviously. It looked weird. He just looked off. That's the only way I can really put it. He didn't look sure of how to play for like the first 5 plays that he was in. The first 3 plays, it was a run, and then he got sacked twice when the O-line just completely collapsed, did not give him any time to do anything. And that wasn't his fault, but that really just screwed up the vibe of what was happening, really. After the first 5-6 plays, he started to settle in. He had a nice third down completion to Deontay Spencer. That was probably his best throw of the game. He obviously had the shovel pass to Seth Williams on third down. The Broncos did not run any play action for him. They didn't run any play action for him, and if you're a Broncos fan, you know that play action is where Drew Lock thrives. Get him out of the pocket, narrow the field down to really just half the field, make his decisions as limited as possible, which is bad to say, but that's just where he's best at. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league when you put him in play action, and that's his best strength. And the Broncos in this preseason game, they didn't do that, and they did that on purpose. I think they wanted to see how he plays without his best strength. And I thought he did all right. There was a couple drops. I already talked about the offensive line. They didn't play well. They tripped him up on a goal line play. There was going to be a pass. But every single drive that he led, besides his first one, they were all field goals. Like, they were all scoring plays. And to do that with the second team, with the offensive line not playing very well and with the drops, I think he did pretty good. And the biggest thing that I saw is that he's improved. He's improved from last season. And that's the biggest thing. Because last season he was not good at all. But this season, he's good. He's dueling with Teddy Bridgewater, and he's been equal, if not better than Teddy Bridgewater through 2 games. I would prefer if he starts, just because of how high his potential is. Last year I don't think was a good barometer of how good he is or can be, just because of the COVID things. He missed a decent amount of games because of the COVID thing, plus injuries. His supporting cast is all out. The number 2 tight end, Alberto, he tore his ACL a couple games in. He was Locke's favorite target when he was playing. Obviously, you have Cortland Sutton. The entire right side of the offensive line was just completely decimated. So I would prefer if he starts, because I think that he can be great in the second season of the system. He knows what he's doing. He's got a great rep with Cortland Sutton. We already know he's working on the rep with Judy, but it looks like they're decent. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to just explode this season. He's got a great rep with KJ Hamler. He always has. Obviously, he has a great rep with Tim Patrick. He's got good chemistry with every single player on the offense, and he knows the system probably better than Teddy Bridgewater does. But Teddy Bridgewater is a more reliable guy. That's just what it is. If the coaching staff thinks that Teddy's best for the team and best for their jobs, because a lot of them are going to be on the hot seat right now, they're going to choose him. And unfortunately, that might be the truth for people who like Drew Lock. If the coaching staff just believes that Teddy Bridgewater is best for the team, they're going to choose him. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. So one of the things that I saw, Javonte Williams, talked about him in the last video. I'm going to talk about him again. He's incredible. He's so hard to tackle. His center of mass is so low. It's impossible that one guy just takes him down. He had a couple plays where I was watching with a couple of friends, and I audibly stood up and had to walk away because what he was doing was just insane. He stiff arms, he spins around, he jukes, he's fast, he's strong, everything. I love that pick. I think he's going to be really, really good. I can't wait to see him with Melvin Gordon. Second thing, Jonathan Cooper. Man, he's an absolute steal. I cannot believe that the Broncos got him as a 7th round pick. He looks like the best defensive rookie in the entire NFL right now. I'm not even kidding. He looks ridiculous. He had a couple plays. He also had a couple plays where he just looked like the best player on the field. Legitimately. He's going to be the linebacker 4. He's going to be an edge rusher. He's going to be great in the system. Man, I don't know how he felt. I understand that he had the heart surgery, but geez, he's insane. He's going to be great. Another thing that really struck me during this game when I was watching is that the wide receiver depth for the Broncos is just insane, and I think it's a lot better than a lot of people realize. The core is likely going to be Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. Those are the starting 4 you're going to see the most. Then Trinity Benson, he's at a great camp in preseason. He's probably going to make it. And then it's going to be one of Seth Williams, Tyree Cleveland, or Deontay Spencer. Deontay Spencer is mostly just a returner, and I don't know if the Broncos are going to want to use a spot just on a returner, especially when you have a lot of defensive guys who have started to make names for themselves. And Tyree Cleveland's been really, really good. Seth Williams is very, very promising. He's got a lot of potential. So there's the Broncos wide receiver depth is going to be really, really good. All the last 3 options that I listed are going to be great. The depth on that wide receiver room is insane. First team defense, they look great. I think every starter played, besides Von Miller. Obviously, he'll play in the 3rd game along with Cortland Sutton. But Bradley Chubb looked really good. Malik Reed looked really nice. Linebacking core looked great. Josie Jewell, I don't think Josie Jewell played either. And taking his place, Justin Stranad, I think is how you pronounce his name. He looked great. I really like him. He didn't play last year, and I think he would have been great for us last year too. But this year, I think he's going to be great. I think he's a guy we're going to stick on. Travis Kelce. He's going to be the guy that we have to use to stop him. I know they're playing a random quarterback, but the secondary looked great. Justin Simmons had a pick early. Jonathan Cooper, he forced a fumble. Deshaun Williams had a pick. He's going to get on the roster again. First team defenses look great. They absolutely locked up. Last thing, Eric Saubert. He looked really, really nice. He's been great through the 2 preseason games and in all training camp. He's been really nice. He's going to make it as tight end 3. He's fast. He's athletic. He's a good blocker. I think he's stuck out to me as well. Now, some final thoughts on just what I think of everything. I think the quarterback competition goes one more game. I wouldn't be surprised if Fangio names a starter after or at some point this week. But I also would not be surprised if he doesn't name one until a couple days before the first game. I think Fangio and the coaching staff, I think they know that the right choice is to go with Drew Lock because of the fact that Drew Lock has a high potential. He's younger. He's the guy who you should give the second chance to because of that his potential is so high. But they also know that Teddy Bridgewater is probably better right now. And they're trying to juggle that decision with, do we go with the safer, reliable choice who's going to handicap our offense a little bit, or do we go with the gunslinger who's going to be able to, unlock all this potential in our offense and in himself? That's a super hard decision for a guy to make. I hope that this happens. I don't think it'll happen, but I hope that this happens in the last preseason game. I hope that Fangio gives both of them a half to work. I don't know who's going to start. I assume it would be Locke. because he didn't play that great in the last game. I assume they would start Locke just to see if he can get something going with the starting unit, because he played better than Bridgewater in the first game when he played with the ones than Bridgewater did with the ones. I think he's going to... I hope that they give them an equal opportunity. It won't happen because they're not going to risk an injury to either of those for playing an entire half. But I hope that that's what happens, and to see which one of them just takes the job. See which one plays the best. If Locke doesn't blow Bridgewater out of the water, if he doesn't blow him out of the water, and if Bridgewater is able to compete when playing with the twos, it's going to be Bridgewater. At least in this my little dream scenario. Yeah, it's going to be a weird final 2 weeks before the season starts, but I'm really excited because I think either of these quarterbacks can take the Broncos to the playoffs. Regardless of who starts, I think we're going to make the playoffs this season. And to me, that's all I care about. That's all the fans should care about. They should not be, clamoring over who they want to be the quarterback. As long as they take it to the playoffs, it shouldn't matter. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm excited for this last preseason game. I'm excited to see what happens. Really excited to get the season going again. I realize how much I miss football and how much I love football. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully get a decision soon about the quarterback. Yeah, peace.